Hello once again, and today I'm going to try something a little bit different, well, completely different. Right, I'm going to take a photo from the past and talk about it. So I don't know what I'm going to call it. Photo chat, photo memory chat. I don't know. I'll think of a title. So basically, what this is a picture of my old bedroom. So what I'm going to do is sort of talk about it. Right, so I do believe this picture was taken by me in 1992. I can't tell you when in 1992 it was, by looking at my mate Roger with his leather jacket on. It might have been I don't know, autumn maybe, I don't know. It's my mate Dan. He lived down the street from me, not too far down the road. And Roger, he also lived down the same street as me, but further down the road. I mean, I've known him for years. Like, we grew up together basically when we was kids. Yeah. So this I don't know what I was feeling when I took this picture, but there weren't many pictures that I took of my old computers. And this one I did. As you can see, it's my Commodore 64 there. That's the C model, the Commodore 64C, one of the latest computers. By this time I've had this computer probably a year, because I bought this in 1991, brand new. So there's my portable telly, my Philips portable telly, which I think my mum bought me back in the 80s sometime, mid-80s. She bought me that telly. Cheap telly, Philips telly, didn't have no remote control or nothing. You know, I think it was a 14 or a 15 inch colour telly. So what can we see what's being played there? Looks like a goal. I think it was leaderboard. It looks like leaderboard. I had leaderboard loaded on Commodore 64 there. So you can see the power pack, the power bricks underneath the desk there where that sits on. Interesting about this desk though, this desk, as far as I remember, this desk came free with my Amstrad CPC 464. I think this was time when the monitor busted up on it, so the Amstrad might be around here somewhere, but I don't know, it might be in a different location somewhere. So we can see, yeah, it could be leaderboard. I think it was because that's the solid gold pack on the Commodore 64. So could think that could be leaderboard. So yeah. What else can we say? Oh, we can see a load of Commodore 64 games there. That was quite high, that rack. I think these racks were in like 1, 2. Yeah, I think I had about at least 10 racks maybe that went right up in the air. It was attached to the I think that's the airing cupboard. Yeah. So there's a lamp there on top of the telly. So look at that. I had twin cassette decks. Well, twin cassette. What are they called? Data corders or whatever they call. I can't remember what they play. So I've got two there because I had a thing on the back of the Commodore 64 that can accommodate to tape drives, I should say. Yeah, one for recording, one for playing, one for recording. You know what I was up to there then, don't you? But it wasn't that reliable, to be honest with you. So look at that. So I've got my Amstrad double-decker video recorder there. Yep. You never know what. That didn't. It didn't do what you thought it does. It didn't really pirate tapes. It didn't work like that. Because obviously, if you hire a tape, it always had some sort of copy protection on it, so you couldn't copy tapes. But it had its uses, even though it wasn't. It was pretty crap, to be honest with you. The quality of it did go downhill with it. But you know, I remember owning it. It was good. You know, I can't remember. Was it $299, $399 I paid for that? Yeah. So this telly, this is something I remember. This big telly here You're thinking, why wasn't your Commodore 64 hooked up to your nice big telly? Probably because I didn't have a desk in front of it. Yeah, I wonder why I didn't do that. Looking back, why is my Commodore 64 hooked up to the small telly, not the big telly? Now, how did I acquire this telly? Well, this was my dad's telly at the time. Well, it was my dad's telly. He bought another telly. So I acquired this telly. I know it was a Sony telly, but it was something special about this telly. So it had stereo speakers, I remember that. I think it was a 26-inch telly. It was a massive thing. Really went back. It was quite bulky, really big. But it was something special about this telly. It was a multi-regional telly. So if I wanted to, I could have imported Japanese or American consoles or video recorders, and it would have worked with this telly because it had NTSC, it had CCAM, it had power regions 1, 2, 3 or whatever. This telly had everything. It could work around the world. I don't know, obviously it works around the world, but certainly anything you could plug on it would work. As I said, it was a multi-regional telly, and I think it was 50 Hz, 60 Hz. It could output. So I don't know what I did with it though. I think I ended up selling it in the end, because I did acquire, when my dad got another telly, a 32-inch surround sound thing, I acquired the other telly, and I think I got rid of this telly, which was a ITT flat screen telly. Unfortunately, this did not have any like SCART inputs or anything like that, because this must have been a really early 80s TV, so it didn't have none of the standard later inputs. So I think that's the reason why I got rid of it, because I got a Commodore Amiga the following year, and I was having that telly. Just when I got the SCART, because the other telly had a SCART, so I plugged it through the SCART, and the quality was much better. I ended up getting rid of this telly because I didn't have nothing. I didn't think back in the day I was ever going to get anything imported. Obviously, no internet back then. Well, I didn't have internet back then. I think it was brand new, the internet at the time, but no one I knew had the internet. You know, this was a brand new revolutionary thing. So, I bet this telly would be sought after now, but with collectors. You know, especially people that imports, like importing consoles from Japan or America, say this telly would be ideal. If it's still about, because I'm pretty sure I ended up selling it. But yeah, so you never know. You might, if this telly is out there that still survives, you might find it. You never know. I would recommend it if you're a collector and you import consoles or computers, because it's a multi-regional TV. Anyway, enough about the TV. What else can we see here? So we can see some more Commodore 64 games there. These are the dual cases. What was I thinking? What the hell was I thinking putting cassettes by a speaker? Never affected it though, because these games still worked, but I had a stereo somewhere in the middle, so, and the speakers did detach. Yeah. So we can see a joystick under here. I think that could be, looks like my Cheetah 125 Plus maybe. And we got some big box games here. Really big boxes you can see there. So that's stored some games under there. I don't know what all these folders are and all that. See, I used to wear a tie when I was working. I had to wear a tie. I worked in a print room at that time. This was what's on there? It's my cap. I don't know why I wear a cap. Anyway, so look, we've got some pictures here in the background. Look, so these are my old radio controlled cars. Yeah, look at that. I took a lot of pictures. I remember I took a lot of pictures of my radio controlled cars. Didn't take a lot of pictures of my computers though. Yeah. So yeah, so these are all like my Toyota truck there. I think it's a couple of my cars there. Yeah, so a few cars there in the background. Now what can we see? Ah, look, if you see right there, there's one of my, at the back of one of my radio control cars. I had about I think I had about 4 or 5 of them. I can't remember now. Yeah. What else can we see? This little thing. I remember my mate David gave me this. He lived down the road from me. I used to, as you can see, a bit of paint there, so I used to store some of my old Airfix kit paints on it by the looks of it. I used to store some in there because they all opened up and all that. Yeah, and here, bloody hell, they look like something out of a car, so you can store cassettes in them. Just a cassette, not the cassette cases, so I must have had maybe some blank cassettes in there somewhere. So I've got a desk tidy here. Oh, the 90s. The 90s. Unfortunately, I don't have none of this stuff now. But I do have one of these Commodore 64 still. It's not that Commodore 64. I know that for a fact, because I sold that one to my mate Alan, I guess, who I sold my Amiga 500 to as well. So I know it's not that Commodore 64 I got right here. I think that was my mate's. I think it was my mate's. It was my mate's because he gave it to me. Yeah. Also in these folders and stuff. But yeah, I had a few joysticks underneath the desk there. As I said, I think this is the only picture I've got of a computer, of one of my computers. I don't know if I've got any other photos of any of my computers. PCs I have, but I'm talking about like my Amstrad, my Commodore 64, my Amigas. I don't think I've got any more pictures of those. I mean, if this is successful, I might dig out some more pictures and do some more. I don't know. I'll see how this one goes. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, I'm going to end this now. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, and goodbye.